Hello everybody, this is Two Dudes the Gaming Person's Hands, and today I'm going to show off a quick little sort of deck list slash spellbook list, however you want to say it. For all intents and purposes, I will be saying deck, just so new players don't get too confused. Today I'm going to be showing off my Shmoo deck, which is, from what I can tell, kinda unique. So here I got my Shmoos. You see that? I'm not going to go too in-depth with it. It's just kind of like a deck list slash idea. Maybe I can inspire you guys to, you know, maybe come up with some crazier ideas than I do. But this is my main bread and butter right here. It's my Medford Shmoos. This is a reverse hollow. You notice I don't run any Terras because this deck is focused on essentially making as many tokens as fast as possible. So, and it does a really good job at it. So, here's my Shmoos. Basically, the main effect with these guys you want to keep in mind is whenever you contract a light page, as you can see the majority of my deck is light based. Every time you contract a light page, it makes a token. And I will show you what the tokens look like. I have 11 tokens, but with how well this deck works, I actually need probably 20. Here are my Shmoo tokens. They go hand in hand with my Shmoos. And here we have my light elementals. So the light elementals are in this deck for a similar reason to the Shmoos. They're kind of my backup generator, is what they are. And they're also spirits, so you can't target them for attacks. But I run a full play set. I forgot to mention, I run a full play set of 8 Shmoos. And then I run 5 light elementals, which, as I said, they are my backup generators. So, 5 of those, 8 Shmoos, and I have a playset of Starlight Blooms. You need these in your deck if you're going to be running Shmoos, just because they're free, and you know, basically get a token on top of being able to generate some aura. So I also have these 1-cost Stone of Protections, which I either put on my Shmoos or I'll put on my Nightcrawlers, which we'll get to at some point. Stone of Protection, you can run 10, I only run 4, because really you don't need that many. They're mainly in here to make more tokens. And I run 4 Unicorns, which again, they're 1-costs, which help out token generation. New Beginnings, every deck should have a New Beginnings. Helps you cycle your hand. You got Fountain of Youth. And the Fountain of Youth is kind of a take it or leave it card in this deck. But I keep it in just because I like life gain. And also like getting rid of status effects whenever someone decides to do something with my Shmoos. I run 5 Cosmic Auras. You don't need that many Cosmic Auras because everything in this deck that is Cosmic is either a 1 or a 2 cost. So it's not that big of a deal. However, I run more Light Auras. I run 7 Light Auras because sure everything in this deck is, you know, either 1, I think, yeah, my Fountain of Youth is a 3 cost, or everything else that's light is either 0, 1, or 2. And the whole idea is to have like 2 or 3 Shmoos out on the field, and you just bombard the field with light cards, which make like 3 tokens per play. So say you have like 4, let's just say 4. You have 4 light auras. And you know, say you have some of unicorns, light elementals, whatever, and it's just, you know, you're getting at least like 6 tokens, you know, that turn. So that's really good. And of course, if I had 2 of these, I would play 2 of these, but only have 1, but it's always worth having at least 1 of these in your deck. It's a holy gem. You can fatigue it to generate 2 light auras, and where it's a 0 cost, you know, there's no reason to not have it in this deck, because if you get it, you just get free tokens. Now, on to my Fresno Nightcrawlers. These are good when you have a handful of light cards you don't particularly want. Say you got too many auras, or you just have, you know, one of these colorless cards in your hand. You can just cycle it back in your deck and potentially get another Shmoo to play, or just another cheaper option to get out. So they're also a bigger monster in this deck. It's the biggest monster I have in this, the biggest beastie I have in this deck, I should say. Where it's a spirit and fleetfoot, it is an amazing card to have in this deck. You know, it does decent damage. It's only 40 health, but it's really worth it in this deck. And I run 2 indexes. Basically, if I have an index in my starting hand and not a single Shmoo, you know, I'll go search for a Shmoo. Or if I'm in really dire need, I'll go for a Nightcrawler. So it's really good to have in your deck. You can only have 2, so I have a full playset. And then I have a playset. Then I have a playset of bookmarks, which again is just one of those things you need in your deck, because 1 cost gets you 2, lets you bookmark 2, which essentially for those newer players out there, that's basically you draw 2. And I mean, that's essentially the deck. Also, I'll show you the stained glass token, if it'll focus. This is what the light elementals make. So you tap a light elemental, and it makes one of these, which is 20/20. And then every time a light elemental hits a caster's life, it buffs permanently the stained glass tokens by 10. So if you have 3 light elementals on the field, and whether spirits, you know, you can't attack them, this is going to get buffed to insane amounts. This is essentially the card that ends up being the biggest in the deck. This is my hard hitter, alongside my Fresno, if overwhelming them doesn't work. So you got multiple different paths you can take, and let's just get all this shuffled, and we can have a look to see what our starting hand would look like. Alright, so I shuffled my deck, and let's just pretend this is a tournament. We will cut my deck, and we'll set it right here for time's sake. And I will draw 7 cards. As you can see, honestly, this is a pretty good starting hand, and we'll go ahead and draw 1 card, because you draw a card at the beginning of your turn, and a light aura. So as you can see, we only have 1 Shmoo in the hand, but ideally what you want to do with this type of hand is you definitely want to keep it, because you got 2 cosmic auras, which for this deck is really all you need. It's the light auras that you actually really need. You need a lot of light auras. But 2 cosmics is the at least ideal for this deck, because with 2 you can get out a Fresno, with 2 you can get out 2 Shmoos if you want, you know, in 1 turn. So this is how I would play this hand turn 1. I'd lay down a cosmic, tap, bring out a Shmoo. If there's something on the field, you can flash if you really want to. And yeah, I don't have any other auras, but right here, remember when I talked about earlier with the Holy Gem, I only have 1 of, but it's worth to have in the deck. It's a 1, or it's a 0 cost, and you literally just play it, comes in tapped, and you make a token. Turn 1, you have 2 beasties on the field. So, and then next turn, you just untap everything, unfatigue, whatever. You draw. Okay, great. I have 3 Cosmics. That's honestly 2's kinda ideal. 3's, you know, it's just kinda extra at this point. But what you would do, put down a light, make a token, tap, play a unicorn, get another token. There. I'll put it right here in frame so you can kind of see it a little bit better. You're not supposed to move your cards, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to. And there. Turn 2, I have essentially 4 creatures. And that's not it. Or I have 5 creatures on the board turn 2. But you might be wondering, I have this on the field. So I'm going to tap that since it taps for 2. And I'm going to play a Lot Elemental. So essentially, turn 2, I have my token generator. I have 6 beasties on the field. That's just kind of a body. Lot Elemental. There's my backup token generator. So literally turn 2, this is honestly one of the best hands you could get for this deck. Turn 2, it's just insane. So I'm sure you can see the potential of what could happen with this deck. So I will leave it there for now. And if you haven't already, if you enjoy this video, this educational Metazoo video, go ahead and hit subscribe, like the video, check our links in the descriptions down below. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your days.
What the hell is going on?